Welcome to Focus Westerville. I'm your host, John Buckles, and on this program we are reminded as we spotlight the people and the events making news in our community of the quality of life that we have in this town. And we're especially proud and encouraged when others outside the city recognize and affirm that excellence. Have you heard about our latest honor? Forbes magazine has named Westerville one of the top 5 friendliest towns in America. We talked to community leaders to see what they thought of the Forbes magazine recognition.
I think Forbes did get it right as us being the 5th friendliest city in the United States. But personally for me, we're the first.
There's just kind of an atmosphere here that's very welcoming. And I'm not sure if that's ever been different. I've been here for over 30 years, but I can tell you it's unique in my experience.
We have a unique opportunity here that I don't see in a lot of other communities, which is the fact that we still have that small town feel to it. The parks, the schools, the combination with the city and the schools and the community in general, the different organizations.
Forbes was especially impressed by the degree of community engagement and the resounding charitable spirit that exists in this town. For example, did you know there are dozens and dozens of civic organizations representing thousands of people investing hundreds of thousands of hours and dollars into our community? Let's meet just one of those Westerville civic stakeholders.
Bob is in charge of our Rotary Foundation.
My name is Rick Rayno, and I'm currently the 2012 and 13 president of the Westerville Sunrise Rotary Club. I've been in Westerville since 1966, and my dad was the city's first full-time Parks and Recreation Department leader. And my mom was a Whittier school teacher for 20 years. So I feel like I have a real good, solid foundation here within the community. I think with Forbes and their magazine and the 5th friendliest, did they get it right? They may have missed it by a few notches. We probably could have been 1 or 2, but for me, it is why I moved back to Westerville. We do feel that this is a friendly place. It's a good place to live. It's family oriented, and there's lots of things to do.
We're at $7,800.
With Forbes and mentioning civic, duties and civic organizations, I've always felt that Westerville is very strong. When I grew up here in Westerville, my dad was a noon Rotarian, and he would drag us along to any event. And so I always felt like at some point in time this would be really neat to be a part of something like that. Our club, we have 100 members, and we're growing, and there's a need in our community that to satisfy everybody wants to be able to give back. And that's what I find so special about Westerville, is that you call somebody and they're willing to help. And just the energy that's in the room and the spirit of giving, I think is fantastic. I think Westerville is full of many civic organizations that really do a great job. In fact, I serve on a group that has all the volunteers of all the civic organizations, and we meet quarterly. And there's such a good buzz in the air, and people are really excited to be there. And everybody treats each other just special. If you're in Kiwanis, great. If you're a Lions, club member, great. If you're a JC's, great. Just good energy. I think everybody respects each other, and we all have different missions. But I think in the end, what we're trying to do is make our community a better place, and to be able to give back to others while we're living in our community. It's not uncommon that I'll receive a phone call, and it's whether it's the school district calling and they want to bring a group of business leaders together. There's a need in our community that some kids maybe have go to bed hungry at night. There's some kids that go to bed without clothes, or to wake up in the morning, or a pair of shoes that are going to last them through the day. And that's what we're discussing right now. How can we come together to satisfy a need within the community? To do that, you have to have people that that want to really give back, because we're all busy. I mean, we would all like to do maybe have a little bit of more me time, or do things, but I think at the end of the day, when you look back on what you were able to accomplish and who you were able to meet that day, and maybe the one thing I always try to do is just to make sure that whatever situation I was in during that day, I want to make sure I left it a better situation so I want to be able to add something to it. Westerville is a welcoming place. I've been in several communities, obviously, with my job and working with families and housing. I've been in every community, in Central Ohio. And while I love several of the communities, I just really feel so comfortable coming back to Westerville. I think it has just everything to offer, an individual, a family, and kids. And I just think it epitomizes what we're put on this earth to do, and that is to help other people and to make each other's life a little bit better.
If you think you'd like to pool your talents and your resources with one of the many fine groups here in Westerville, just grab the local newspaper and read what's going on with our people any given week. Or walk uptown during a Fourth Friday celebration, or peruse the library or any community bulletin board. People are making a difference.
Well, I'd say the friendliness probably really picks up in the volunteerism. There is not an organization in this city that you can look at and say they're really having problems finding someone. If you make that personal touch and call someone, visit them for lunch, they'll usually say yes. I mean, it's just a really interesting way that we all want to help each other. And it really is you sit in like a Rotary meeting, you sit in a chamber meeting, you sit at church, and you look at people and you just feel like, there's something really deep I know about that person, because there's such a story behind everybody that we know in our community.
Well, the thing about Westerville is very warm and friendly. And you don't think about the size of the place. Everything is so accessible. Your shopping, your transportation, and you got a designated downtown area where people walk. In the summertime, you got a great park system. People bike. You got bike trails. So it has a very small town feel, but you get all the conveniences of a big city.
How does a community like Westerville become so welcoming and neighborly? Well, we've run across many people here in town who make up that fabric that expresses that sense of community. They're finding very practical ways to enhance that warm spirit that Westerville is known for.
My name is Jessica Hollins. I am founder of My Very Own Blanket, and we are a group of volunteers dedicated to comforting children in the foster care system, where we hand make blankets to be given away to the kids in the system. My Very Own Blanket started 13 years ago when I was sitting in my nursery with my 3 babies. They were at the time 1, 2, and 3 years old. I was sitting in a rocking chair, knitting a blanket, and I thought, I could knit this for a child in the foster care system. And so as I continued to sit there and knit, I thought, what if I ask other people to help me knit a blanket as well? The idea was that if we all just did one thing, then collectively we could do a lot. After that first year, we received 86 blankets. 13 years later, I can say that as a whole, we've given over 55,000 blankets away to the area county children's services. When we give a blanket to a child in foster care, it shows that child that someone really cared about them to make a blanket for them. But more importantly, it provides security and comfort to them in a child's life where what is happening is not ever a fault of this child's, and their whole world has just been turned upside down and taken from them. So our goal is to provide them with some security and comfort to show them that, you know what, you really are special and people really do care about you. Each blanket that we give to a child in the foster care system has a tag that's sewn on it that says made especially for. There's a place to write the child's name, and then it says from my very own blanket. That'll ensure 2 things. One is that it should stay with the child if they have to move to another home, but more importantly, it shows that child that, you know what, this is your blanket, someone made it for you and you get to keep it. 13 years later, we still have many, many caseworkers that will say to us, this is just so needed, and it's just making such a difference in the life of a child. Every single child who gets one of these blankets, it's making a difference in their life. Westerville is a wonderful community to live in and to be a part of, and I love the fact of being able to have, hopefully someday, the national headquarters in the city of Westerville, because they have embraced us so much. When it comes to the schools, the community service programs, the city, whenever we've put the word out there of something that we were a part of or active in, they've stepped right in and helped to want to help out and be a part of it as well. The city of Westerville has a heart for service. They have embraced our organization in anything that we have stepped out and worked on or put forth. They have wanted to be a part of. There are a number of different organizations that get involved with My Very Own Blanket. As I mentioned, from Girl Scouts to schools to elementary schools. We do also have dance troupes and girls getting involved making blankets at their facility and getting together as a group and having a lot of fun, but doing good for other people. Forbes did get it right. This is a wonderful place to live.
See you guys. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye.
What a great story and an inspiration to us all. It's really about the people helping people, isn't it?
All our business people and in Westerville, whether they're a part of an organization or not, are very community oriented. They want to be successful as a business, yes, but they go beyond that. They want to help the community. So they're often willing to donate goods or services or to promote something. Even if they don't get a direct benefit from it, they know that the community is better for it if they help out. And I think I like to support our local businesses because of what they do. And there's a lot of stuff they do is behind the scenes, and people don't understand that they are constantly out there helping us to achieve goals that we have set for ourselves.
You know, I think the significant difference with the business community is they really care about their community. They invest here in their dollars, they invest here in their products, but they also invest here in their people, but also giving something back, or as Woody Hayes would always say, giving something forward, wanting to help other people to make Westerville a great place to live, a great place to work, a great place to do business, a great place to raise your kids and raise your family.
Stop in to see the stores. You'll be greeted, and it won't be artificial. The people here really do like other people.
One of the coolest things we've heard here in Westerville is the impact of our business community on our culture. Did you know that there are over 5,000 businesses of all shapes and sizes in Westerville with over 50,000 employees working within our city limits? Whether they're public or private, large or small, Fortune 500 or sole proprietor, their bottom line is often more than making economic profit.
I'm Chris Rogers, and I'm the owner of Outside Envy in Uptown Westerville, and we're a unique gift shop. We carry lots of local artists and unique gifts really from all over the world. So we like to say that we're your destination for unique gifts in Uptown Westerville. I absolutely think Forbes got it right when they talk about Uptown being a friendly community. And I think from a merchant standpoint, one of the biggest things that makes it feel friendly is that everyone is so invested in their business. You know, it's their personality, it's what they love to do, and I think that just comes across to the customers, you know, in a real positive way. If I wanted to describe the friendliness of it, I think it's just the, you know, the atmosphere of Uptown. It's got architecture, it's got uniqueness, I guess, is the big, you know, descriptive word I'd use to, you know, to talk about the stores Uptown. You know, the difference between going to the mall and just seeing the same stores over and over again, and coming up here and getting to talk to the shopkeepers and, you know that they will understand what you want, and they can actually help you with it. I think all of that just creates a really close-knit atmosphere that the customers really like, because it's just such a great environment. You know, in the summer, the city does a great job with the flower baskets, and there's, you know, there's seating available. You can get coffee, you can have ice cream. I mean, just anything that you want to do to relax, you know, you can you know, we have people that come, part of the people sit outside and enjoy the atmosphere, the other side of their group comes in and shops. So it's just that real, you know, again, that word unique that you don't get in other places when you come up and shop uptown. You know, the city does a great job to keep uptown looking good and, you know, in good shape. And, you know, the merchants know that if we ever have a problem, you know, we can go to the city and discuss it. So I think all those things put together just gives uptown that really neat personality. Hey, Lori, thanks for the call. I appreciate the business. Bye-bye. I think you have to be welcoming, and it's not anything that's like a job. It's just, it's part of the love of what you're doing, you know, because it's not an easy job to have a, you know, to run a small store. So you really immerse a lot of yourself into it. And you do sometimes feel like an ambassador, but it's nice, you know, the customers that you know when they come in the door, you can call them by name, they know my name. You know, it's just that type of atmosphere that makes it a great little community. And I had a customer come in yesterday during the, I think it was snowing or raining or something, and she came in and she, you know, she's like, "Hi, Chris, how are you? I just came in. I know I treat your store more like a art museum than I do a store." And I always tell my customers when they come in, you know, come in anytime. Don't feel like you have to buy something. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy for you to see what we have. You know, we talk about our vacations. We talk about our dogs. We talk about our families. You know, we don't just talk business. You know, I always make sure that they get taken care of. But, you know, after that, we talk about, you know, subjects are unlimited. Most of the stores up here are owned by a person. It's not a franchise. It's not a big box store. You get personalized service, which is getting harder and harder to find. And you get a great selection of, you know, really unique things. When you think about the shops that are up and down the street here on State Street, you know, there's some real finds. I would almost dare you to go to the mall and try to duplicate a gift that you would find uptown. But I'll tell you a quick little story about when we were looking for a place to open this store, and we were on about a 6-month journey, went all over the city, all different neighborhoods, sat outside, watched the traffic, came during the day, came at night, during the weekend. During the week, we just kept getting drawn back to Westerville. There's just something. And maybe it's not, you know, maybe it's indescribable, you know, that you can't put it's a, you know, not a tangible thing, but it just has this great feel. I think Forbes got it right because you can't beat the atmosphere, the people, the uniqueness of the community. I mean, there truly is something for everybody up here in uptown Westerville.
When you interact with one of the members of the business community, it's certainly more than a business transaction, isn't it? They're not only invested in their company, they're invested in our community. And they contribute to a small town feel in some pretty significant ways.
My father built our home in Westerville in 1967. My mother is still living in that home. He was a brick mason and a builder, so in moving about during my day in Westerville, I get to see his work. And I still feel that real small sense of community that he wanted for us as children. I moved here again, I was 7 years old, so I've seen the community through those eyes and have seen it grow from a 15 or 13,000 member community to a 36,000 member community.
Even though we know Westerville is a great place to live and work, sometimes people actually move out of town. Yeah, go figure. But you know what? Many of those people come back. Let's meet one person who just couldn't stay away.
I'm Dennis Reno. I'm a resident of Westerville. I grew up here, went to Westerville South, graduated in 1977. I lived in New York for 16 years. I came back in 2009. I could have gone anywhere, but you know, Westerville's home. I have a lot of friends from all over the world. I've had a lot of great New York experiences. The part for me is the arts. I'm an artist. I get up every day and paint. I do local landscapes, downtown Westerville. It's just a nice feel with that hometown, you know, fabric. Just the way it's grown. In the summertime with the flower pots, you know, dotting all the way up and down State Street. It's just beautiful. I think they're trying to keep the continuity of, you know, times past, but yet move forward. Westerville is community, family, security, calmness, a nice place to live. People in Westerville are giving. I've done some charitable events. I was involved with the 40th anniversary of Warm. Here's part of the benefit for Warm. We had a Santa, but we raised $1,000 that night. Westerville, I feel, has a small town feel. There's great parks here. There's a bike path right behind me here. I see strollers, I see dogs, I see, you know, people jogging, and it's just nice. And I actually chose this room to watch the activity, to keep my mind active as I'm painting. Forbes got it right. Thank you, Forbes.
In Westerville, we do have a lot of lifelong residents, but we also have an increasingly diverse set of people moving into our community and adding to what we enjoy here. We've heard time and time again that that's one of the reasons for our vibrant sense of community, that rich breadth of experience and people who now reside here.
It's just absolutely amazing what comes out of children. And, you know, it's like looking through the world through the eyes of a child. You know, as an adult, sometimes you just want to see what that pureness really looks like.
Well, we've promoted a culture in the school district of, again, community service and of caring, and the students, some of the things that the students have done through the years that I've seen are just amazing. And it's really, you're really seeing kind of a generational change from you know, to where the students are today, where they understand that they have a responsibility to give back, and that's part of their education in Westerville schools. So when people come to Westerville, they'll know that that is something that's integrated into the learning that occurs here.
And it's people of all ages who make this place friendly and welcoming. It's often the younger generation taking the lead in impacting our community. Check out these girls at McVeigh Elementary School.
My name is Kennedy Dixon. I'm in 5th grade and I go to McVeigh Elementary. The bathroom used to look kind of dull and gray. We painted it because it was like all dark and gray, and we wanted to make it brighter and pop more.
We were having a lot of difficulty with just vandalism in the restrooms, and it was also just very boring and not much, there was no color and just not someplace pleasant to be.
This wall over here, it used to be like dark and gray, and people had like drawn with their pencils all over it, and it got scratched into it, so you couldn't, if you tried to erase it, it would just make it worse pretty much. So it was really hard to get off. The idea that I came up with was that if we painted the stalls, then people would stop raiding on them.
And some of the girls, led by Kennedy Dixon, came in and week after week came in and asked if they could paint the restrooms or if there was something they could do, because they were upset with the graffiti.
I felt very sad and mad that people were not respecting our utilities that the school has happily provided for us.
The walls were just white and they
people were writing not so good things on it. Yeah.
You really didn't want to go to the bathroom.
Mrs. Miller, our principal, was very open and ready to participate and help us.
But the girls did all the organization, gave their personal time, and came in on several nights and weekends to get the area painted.
Makes me feel proud that I actually did something that helped other people, and it's like all happy than it was before, and there's not as much writing.
Well, the girls really like it, and a lot of the students really feel that it's a much different type of bathroom, and we have had no graffiti since the girls painted the wall. What I did notice is that other students then wanted to participate and have looked to see what can we fix. So they look to see, can we fix our gardens, can we paint other rooms? So I think they're very inspirational in getting students to see how they can participate also.
I think
Westerville is an awesome place to live, and McVeigh is an outstanding place to go to school.
And I would agree with that.
It is awesome coming to McVeigh. It is a nice school. Sammy and I, yeah.
Well, it's stories of young people like that give us the comfort that what we enjoy here in Westerville, that friendly, connecting spirit, will continue. I'm John Buckles for Focus Westerville, and we'll see you next time.